Hello everyone, today we're doing a collaboration with a fellow Catholic VTuber, so that's what we're going to be doing today. And what is your name? And what channel and what do you do?
Channel is on one time focus in classical music and in two. On the other hand, due to I'm, as you have mentioned, a Catholic Vtuber, my channel is too about music from a Christian perspective. I can do. My idea is making posts or videos talking about different musical issues related with religion, with Christianity. On the other hand, commemorative Christian festivity days for interpreting Catholic pieces. For example, during Saint Ferdinand Day, a day which is very important from people, for Spanish Catholics, by the way. I made a single interpretation of the cantigas from Alfonso number 10, Alfonso 10th, who was the son of Saint Ferdinand, the King Saint Ferdinand. And for example, 2 weeks later, on 27 July, to commemorate Santiago Apostol, which I think you call Saint James the Great, isn't it?
Saint who? Which one?
The one who, the one who went to Galicia, to Santiago de Compostela, where people peregrinate,
The
You
Santiago
call
Trail?
him James the Great.
James the Great. Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah. My idea is for that day, for example, is singing a military Spanish sing in order to that saint, who is the patron from the Spanish patron. That, as I said, an example about the other issue to the musical reflection, musical about musical theory. My idea is making videos thinking about the use of contemporary music in a liturgical context, for example, and popular music. How do you focus? How do you deal as Christian with secular music, etc.? Is that another topic I want to take on my channel?
So you want to talk about like how to look at music from a Catholic perspective and like still be able to enjoy even secular music, I guess.
Correct.
Okay.
That's the idea. That's why the idea on my channel.
Yeah, that's a pretty good like channel topic to go with. Because like I'm trying to do basically the same thing with my anime channel, is that like I'm trying to show people that like it's more a matter of like how you are like looking at like art, basically. So in this case it's like anime and music are both like different art forms, and you can find like Christian Catholic themes in them, basically. So that's pretty good. So how long have you been like running your channel at all?
Excuse me, can you repeat the question,
how
please?
long have you been making videos for your channel?
Well, I have seen the audio not too well, but I think you asked me how long I have started with my channel, isn't it?
Yeah,
Is
that's
that
it.
your question? Okay. My channel is actually recently. Well, I created the channel on the year 2024, months ago, but I didn't upload any video until I will tell you the exact day. Uh, until mm, uh, uh, months ago were the two first videos I uploaded to my channel. But those videos even hadn't Vtuber avatars. Those two videos. One of those videos was well, the two those videos were about two musical hoax, false information, isn't it? Is how you call two musical hoax or fake news related with music and Catholic Church. One of those videos I debunk a house which affirms that a musical interval was forbidden in the Middle Ages by
Oh, like you're talking about that certain
the
like
Catholic
chord
Church.
structure that was
That
like
was for
banned.
information. I debunk it. Yes, there was a musical interval,
Yeah.
uh, um, which is the triton. Uh, for those who doesn't don't know music, intervals are in a short way the distance between a note and another, and depending of how the distance in a chord is the note, depending on how is the distance between one note and note, a chord can sound of different ways. And there was a way of which sound the chord, which is tritons. Well, the hoax say and the fake news say that the Catholic Church forbidden it for being diabolical. And in that video, I debunked that myth, and I gave evidence which shows it's not true.
So the
And
Catholic
the other
Church,
video,
so like the Catholic Church did not officially like ban that chord. It was just a lot of people just decided they didn't like it. Is what you're saying the video was about.
yes, the anti-Catholic says that the Catholic Church banned that interval. Didn't music using it, but I prove in my video that is a lie, and the court and the church not just allows that court that but even use it in religious music for Middle Ages, sacred music. That interval was used without any problem. That's my first video about. And the other video which um, I, I upload no a few well, that video was on 20 of March or 20 the date 20 of March, the video about the Triton interval.
And that's like the 20-minute video.
Um, yes, how do you know? Can you see it? Or
Yeah, I have your channel on my screen right now.
uh, uh-huh. that 20 minutes video effectively. The second video, which I will add it give a minute, excuse me. Well, the other video I will add it a few days later. First score of the Spanish anthem was made by a Spanish Catholic composer. So it hasn't any Mahometan's origins, any Islamic origins, the Spanish anthem. And in a short video, I proved that was a lie. People who that hoax, that fake news, say that use it a record of an Arabic piece and use it to try to prove that Arabic piece was previous to the Spanish anthem. But I prove that that's not true. That piece was composed after the Spanish anthem. And that's what my second video about.
So basically the Muslims were trying to say that they created the Spanish national anthem, which they did not.
Exactly. The reason they used is that the piece they wanted to use to try to prove that the Spanish anthem is music is that it was in a medieval Arabic genre from an Andalus, but being composed a piece in a medieval style doesn't mean that is from medieval period. Do you understand what I want to say? For example, I can't create a classical music version of, the opening of Osinoko, for example, the anime Osinoko, for example, or Violet Evergarden, for example. I can make a classical music version of the opening of Violet Evergarden, but that doesn't mean that Violet Evergarden is inspired on my piece just because I wrote the version in a 28 musical style, that is the same. That piece was composed in a medieval style, but it's not a piece from the medieval age,
Yeah, so like it
firstly,
was composed to sound like it's more traditional, but it was composed
as I say, it's not the same. It's not the same compose a piece in a medieval state that being a medieval composer. In fact, that the type of musical genre which does a Muslim's version of the Spanish anthem, that type of genre was transmit in an oral way, in a no written way,
Okay.
In the middle, it's the Muslim musical genre which characterized that Muslim version of the Spanish version was perpetuated in a no written way. So the first written score, the earliest score from the Spanish anthem, is a score written by Catholic Spanish composer. from the 18th century, you know.
Okay. That's
So
pretty
that
interesting.
the second, yes, that my second video was about. But as I said before, those two videos wasn't uploaded with a VTuber avatar. So during from that day, I started to run posts about related with YouTubers in general, you know, and Spanish music in general. And until I made my music VTuber presentation with my VTuber avatar on. Give me a second. Excuse me, my laptop is a bit slow. Maybe because I have too many
Too much open.
windows. Yes, isn't it? Give me a second, please. Well, I don't know. I can't remember the exact date, but after Holy Week, on the month of between around the month of May, I uploaded my two first videos with my VTuber avatar. One of them I make a self-induce, and another I sang fragments of a musical piece from a zarzuela called from a Spanish opera called La del Soto del Parral. La del Soto del Parral. Its name. And after that, I have been uploaded different videos of me playing the French horn, and singing two uh, classical Spanish music. And a part of that, around those videos, I uploaded the vision which I mentioned before, singing the Spanish piece music from the Saint Ferdinand song. That's one of the videos which I have uploaded this month. More the religious base, the cantigas of Santa Maria, to commemorate Saint Ferdinand days. Those pieces of Santa Maria were a group of pieces composed by musicians from the Alfonso X court, which praised the Virgin Mary. And I sang one of those pieces.
That's very cool.
Generally, that's my VTuber trajectory. For the future, I have the idea to, as I said before, uploaded videos talking about liturgical music on the one hand, talking about in relation with making a difference between sacred music, because I have noticed as a Catholic that there is a misconception about that, you know? It's not the same liturgical music and sacred music. The music which you interpret in a mass, for example, is not the same as, you know, a religious sacred piece to be interpreted in Holy Week, in a Christmas, for example. It's not the same in a Christmas song which you sang with your family, you know? It's not the same. and I had the intention to make a video. I have intention to make a video talking about what type of music can you interpret in a liturgical context and what type of music you cannot interpret in a liturgical context.
So
You know,
so basically
that's
you're
what
saying that like some music is considered like made for worship, and like some of the music is just made to be like entertainment, I guess. So like with Christmas music, like you were saying, there's music that's like Silent Night, basically. That song Silent Night. That's like talking about scripture, basically. But
exactly it's not
then
the same
yeah,
singing. Mhm. It's not the same singing the Silent Night with your family in a Christmas day. It's not the same as uh, singing Gregorian chant in a mass, for example.
yeah,
Each music have their own contents, and it's important to make that difference. Say before, I want to in the future make a videos about talking about what type of musical genres you can interpret in a liturgical context. For example, the issue about singing Protestant music in a liturgical context. For example, I want
yeah.
to talk about that in a in video about if it's you know
Yeah, like
because there is
there's definitely music that is like more acceptable like to like sing or like perform like during a mass, or even like during adoration of the Eucharist, for example. Like so you would say that like Gregorian chant would be like acceptable for like masses and for Eucharistic adoration, but like something that's like
mhm,
more of a Protestant song would not be acceptable for like mass or that.
yes, in a mass context, no. That it could
Yeah.
happen with the Protestant music, for example. There are very Protestant music which messages which are very beautiful songs. I can't deny it, but in a liturgical context, it it had no sense singing a Protestant song, you know.
Yeah. So
And
like
the
you
Second Vatican Council, the different popes made documents talking about those subjects in a deeply way, you know. So there are rules about what music can you sing and what music can you play and what music can you not play in a mass contest. That's one of ideas which I want to talk about in my videos in the future.
okay.
Um,
That should be a good topic.
mhm, mhm. What's your? Do you have an opinion about that? Um, some personal
Uh
reflection about that question.
yeah, like I think that's like a good topic to go over because uh as time has gone on, like especially just even in Protestant churches, we've gotten away from like more reverent pieces of music, and we've like gone towards more like the rock concert kind of at churches, that kind of stuff. And even in the Catholic Church, when it comes to like conventions where like a lot of Catholics are gathering together to like talk about stuff, it's like there's more of an emphasis on like non-traditional music, I guess you could say. Like it's seems like it's more modern almost. they're trying to appeal to like modern generations, I guess. But when it comes to like the mass and like the Eucharistic adoration, I definitely think that it should only be traditional music or traditionally like inspired music in terms of like the instruments used, um, as well as just like the intent of the piece of music. Um, because it's like at the end of the day, like the Catholic Church is uh, had like a lot of influence over like classical music in the past, and that still like holds like the standard of the most reverent in my opinion, just because of its quality and like the intention of it. Um, and like modern music, we there are some like good songs that Protestants have made, I think, but most of them are like I would say just categorically less reverent because they're uh, not as well composed, in my opinion.
I agree. The which I think that we as a nowadays maybe we have about our music some inferior complex. I think, in my opinion. I mean, the Catholic Church has a large musical tradition. You know,
Yeah,
in fact, the I think that the music, the Western music, stand as we are the Western music of which is nowadays owns a lot to the church. To the Gregorian notation, you can understand without it, even the you know. And so I think that I don't see why rejecting that. You know, I mean, it's ok that you make a pop Catholic piece in a modern style. I haven't the problem if I don't know if you can if someone creates a rock Catholic group to try to bring young people. I can understand it, you know, but not
yeah,
at the expense of the traditional music, you know. Um,
yeah. Like
What
so,
there is no necessity to destroy spaces which are more appropriate for music, which is on of more depends more proper more mm, excuse me, can you hear me?
you
Okay,
cut out for a little bit. I couldn't hear you.
can you hear me?
I can hear you now. But
Okay.
I guess like what you were saying is that we shouldn't like abandon our traditional music, and like we should actually like encourage more people to listen to like classical music. Um, because like one of the things I think right now is like people prefer like modern music or like modern pop music a lot of the times, but then they forget like how like beautiful classical music is because like they might just never have heard classical music, and so they think that modern music is better, just based on that they know more about it. And I think like for me with anime music, that actually takes a lot of inspiration from a lot of like classical like instrumentation and just like the general level of quality, but it's still also like modern. So I think there's definitely still good music that's being produced now, but it's usually stuff that's tied to like classical music in some way. Uh, yeah.
Yeah, and besides the popular music owns the popular music, what we call nowadays popular music, no? The modern music owns a lot to the classical music. The influence, if you go deeply, you can say uh, that that there is a lot of influence and vice versa. And classical music also can sometimes accept being influenced too by popular music and modern music even.
Yeah.
So I don't know why reject one genre in favor of others. I don't know why rejecting classical music in favor of modern music and popular music and popular music.
Yeah.
Um,
Like I definitely think that since we have modern music now, like we have like rock music, we've got like more modern instruments that like there's definitely a lot of songs that are produced now that like use those modern instruments, but they're still composed like a classical piece almost, or they use like certain classical techniques with those more modern instruments now, which I think is really cool.
yes, I agree.
Yeah.
And plus, as we say, um, as a Christian, as Christian we must to take in account about the modern music that their origins, well, aren't not precisely Christians. I mean, this is not about condemn modern music per se, of course, no. As we say before, the modern music can be used in a good way for the good and to bring the gospel, of course. But it's important taking in account too that the origin of modern music weren't Christians, were in fact the origins of rock and roll and their different uh, pop music and reggaeton and reggae were a reaction about Christian traditions. It's important to take that in account. Does this make those musical genres as anti-Christians? No, but it's true that is going to be more difficult, maybe using those musical genres to be the gospel in comparison with classical music. Do you know what I mean? What I want to
Yeah,
say?
like because like rock music, for example, notoriously is pretty satanistic. Like a lot of like the song lyrics basically point towards elevation of self rather than of a submission to like God, basically, in a lot of cases. So like it
Mm-hmm.
is difficult to like spread the gospel through like stuff like that, I think. But usually I would say
Mm-hmm.
that like you can show people like, okay, like this may sound good on its face level or something like that, because but like really the core message of it is like something that will destroy you almost. Because I know like there's basically there's this one band that like it's called Ghost, if you've ever heard of it. But like a lot of their music, they make it to where like the music in terms of like the
Yes.
instrumentation is like very beautiful, I guess you could say, or very high quality. But then with their lyrics, their intent behind it is to be sacrilegious, basically, which is not good.
Well, yeah, but I would like to add something. For me, I don't think that it's important to make a difference between the instruments you use and the musical genres you use. I mean,
Yeah,
there are instruments which have original but that doesn't mean that instrument is proper of musical genres. For example, the organ was an instrument which origins were secular from the ancient pagan Rome to celebrate, to parties, etc. But eventually, during the Middle Ages, the medieval age, the Catholic Church started to use it as a sacred instrument
Yeah.
from a
They
liturgical
made it.
context.
They
You
like
know,
basically
so in that
adopted it.
sense, it's important to make that difference between using to be the instruments you use and the musical genres. In that sense, for me, the problem about that, as I said, is not necessarily the instrument, but is the problem the musical techniques, and the musical colors you made, and the musical, how do you say, the musical feelings, ideas, the way to play the music, the sounds to try to make is it's what really matters for me, in my opinion.
So it's more like about like what's the intent behind the music.
Um,
Uh,
yeah, but I wasn't talking. Yeah, the intent, but I wasn't talking too about the musical characteristics in a technical way and in a sound way.
yeah.
I mean, you can use a guitar electric to play, I don't know, violin to cover a violin concert from Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, or to use a electric electric guitar to play a piece in a Beethoven style. It's So for me the problem, the subject, what matters is the musical style and and how and what types of feelings, uh, instincts sense that musical style. Because music is not musical meaning. Uh, it's not relatively. I mean, the context have this influence, of course, but it's a musical piece, for example, makes sad feelings or aggressive feelings, for example, send them feelings.
Like you're
For
saying,
example,
like
a
when you listen to like Catholic music,
piece,
like it'll
a
give you
rock,
peace and like basically elevate your soul, or like help you have more reverence, I guess.
yes, of course. The question is how to use that music in a good or evil way.
Yeah.
But we can't deny that objectively the different music genre styles encourage us to act in its ways. A Gregorian piece, for example, I don't know, Gregorian chant doesn't send the same instincts as a heavy metal song would send. You know, you can have the intentions you would like, the context you would like, but there are instincts and feelings that a musical genres or style sends objectively.
You want to like go through some different types of like I guess music and I guess discuss them almost, Because like there's a few songs that I think that you'd probably enjoy almost, that like I have used like almost as in like a reverent way almost of, I guess you could say, like they sound like they're classical pieces almost, but they're modern as well.
Mm-hmm.
And have like some like Catholic influence as well, which is what kind of drew me into these this type of music, I guess you could say. So I'll share that with you in a little bit as soon as I actually can get to it. Okay, so like
I'm going to try to see.
so like I've got two pieces of music right here that I think are like examples of how modern music can still be classical, almost. And like both of these examples are basically from animes or like Japanese composers and stuff, which is why I have an appreciation for Japan, is because they still compose stuff to like good high quality. But like the reason I'm choosing these two also is because they are both variations on the Kyries, in terms of like the Latin like chant that's very traditional in the Catholic Church. But the context of these is very, it like arose from like a secular perspective, so it's not made by actual Catholics basically. It's made by people who were influenced by Catholics and created music that is basically, I guess, using those musical themes, I guess you could say. But like I still like these as a Catholic because they still have those like themes in it. The actual like lyrics and stuff are still like within the line of reverence. They're not like completely divergent, I guess, from the gospel, and so that's why I like these songs a lot. So yeah, we'll listen to this first one basically, and this one is kind of a rocky type song, but like it's also more atmospheric as well, so you probably will enjoy this, I guess. But are you ready? Are you ready to listen?
Yes,
Alright.
I'm ready.
Cool. Yes. Did you like that?
Yes, I like it.
Yeah. And like this artist also does a lot of other basically like Catholic influence stuff as well. Like some of their other songs have like direct lyrical references to like Catholic stuff as well, which is interesting. And then like the music quality is obviously pretty good, I think. It's like not
Yeah.
rock music to where it's like peaceful, I guess you could say. So that was the
Yes,
first song.
they are basically mixing different musical genres. Take into account that nowadays it's very difficult to put uh, a more clear music catalogation, you know. It's not so easy nowadays saying, oh, this piece is a rock piece, or this piece is a pop piece, or this piece is a trap piece, you know. This is things those days don't work
Yeah.
like that, you know.
All the genres are
What I mean?
mixed around now. Yeah, but this one's from an anime also. This next piece, it's from an anime also, but this is more like actually traditionally composed, I guess you could say. But look, it's a good song. Yes, a very good song.
Yeah, I agree. It's in this piece, as you mentioned before, it's in a classical style. And well, for people who some viewer or si someone of who are views us is a singer, will notice too the singer style, even the single style of the piece. This is the woman who was singing, the soprano,
Yeah, that
was singing in an
woman singer.
operatic style. You know?
Yeah, and like that's the same thing with that other artist I shared also, is that all of their songs are like in operatic style almost. Like all of their styles are relatively classic.
Yes. It's true that when I watch anime, well, I have a more I know now anime more deeply, but when I was noob about the anime thing, that surprised me how at least Japan or at least anime culture has accepted very well the Western cultural some aspect of the Western culture, you know. It's not like I mean when the in order for example in the musical when the Japanese for example composers made musics in a maybe more classical music style with more Western influence, it not sound like they are just copying or imitating in a bad way, you know. It makes something which is Western classical music, but with their own personality. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like they're
Is
making like
that's what.
they're making like new music but with the same styles that was used in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
But yeah, like in the West here, it's like we still have, like in America, there's still some artists that make classical music, but I don't think it's to like the same quality as like Japan is making classical music. And I think it's
Hmm.
because over
I
here,
agree.
yeah, I think it's because in America, it's like our culture has like like the Western culture of like America and Europe has started to diminish over like the last few centuries. But in Japan, it's like they still have a lot of the knowledge about like the older kind of classical music and that kind of stuff because that's the stuff that they were more recently exposed to rather than it being like several hundred years.
And we must take to in account that in your case, the USA, the great classical composer of the USA, I mean, the classical USA hasn't has a very short, has not a proper musical tradition, you know.
Yeah.
When in fact, when USA classical music started to develop, were when musical composers from Europe emigrate to USA. Igor Stravinsky, for example, or I don't know, or Arnold Schoenberg, those guys during the 20th century went to USA, and then it started the musical tradition. I mean, later it comes, they came Leonard Bernstein, etc. But what after those classical musical composers from Europe who came to USA. So that's think that's a reason why USA has not that musical tradition. In related with that, well, another problem with, in my opinion, how the USA is through the in related with that, taking again the Catholic issue. The Catholic question, in my opinion, is that USA hasn't. It's not. I mean, they are very devoted Catholics, like you, for example, yourself. But it's not a country with a long Catholic origins. Like for example, Spain. For example, Spain was made by the Reconquista, which was a Catholic process to recover those countries from Britain's invasion, etc. But that's not the case of USA. So, in reality, with that, USA has not a sacred Catholic musical traditions like we have Europeans, for example. You know what I'm going to say?
Yeah,
Or what I mean?
and yeah, like, because that's why in like America, like the really mainstream like Christian music tradition is Protestant, I think.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. On the other hand, the the modern music is from music origins. It starts with blues, which were created as black people slaves. And from the blues, it came the jazz, which, as we said before, it can use for good, of course.
Yeah, I'm
But
actually a
the
really big
origins
fan
of
of
jazz
jazz.
were anti-Christians. So, and the different musical genres we came from jazz, pop, reggae, etc., had those and those anti-Christian origins that reactionary Christian tradition, and that's a problem which I think you say have to. They haven't a solid Catholic musical tradition on the one hand, and on the other, the modern, the popular music tradition which USA has that dark past. You know what I mean? It can be a there can be a good American modern music, but it is still having that controversial origins. You know what I mean? What you say?
Yeah, like like it diverges from like the traditional musics almost.
Hmm. Yes. In Japan, for example, they haven't that. They have their own. They have had their musical traditions, criteria and parameters. So that's another question. That's another subject to take deeply, to treat in a deeply way.
Yeah, so I think that I think really it's like the main idea is like we should really hold on to like the Catholic traditions and like just classic music pretty much. And like we should encourage like more of it to be like created, I guess, instead of like modern music that has like started to like I guess push people away from traditional music more so.
Yes. We must take in account too that as modern music can have innovation, classical music too. I mean, someone I say this because someone can say that classical music is so repetitive, there isn't anything new, but you can't make new classical music styles as you can make new different modern music styles. You know what I want to say?
Yeah.
And in fact, that's what has happened historically. It's not the same, the romantic thing, the music, classical music from the 19th century, the romantic music from the classical music from the 18th century, you know, or the music from the Baroque in the 17th century.
Yeah, like
So as
there's a
modern
lot of
music
different innovations.
can innovate classical music too, but we must let that classical music that opportunity, you know, give it a chance, and take attention to classical contemporary music who exists. We have in the 21st century uh, classical composers, classical music composers, and in fact there is a now I remember a musician composer whose name is James Macmillan. Do you know?
I don't know him.
Well, he's a Scottish, no British, excuse me, he's a Scottish classical music composer and conductor who is Catholic. And he talks he talks precisely about what we are talking and what we are talking about. Oh, he talks about the different topics we're talking about music. That man, James Mark. If you want, I write the name and surname in the chat if you are interested.
Okay.
Because my pronunciation is not very good.
Yeah, I should listen to like more like classical music, I think. Because like obviously I've heard a good bit of songs, but I haven't like delved like really deep into like the less popular pieces, I guess you could say. Because a lot like I've heard lots of like Mozart, Beethoven, and like basically those big names, like some of their most famous pieces, but I have not actually like I guess you would say delved into some of like the pieces that they produced that were like just not as well known, because that's where I think I could really find like all of the different styles and be able to recognize them in like different types of music, I guess. But yeah, this was a pretty good collaboration, I think. I definitely learned a good bit of stuff.
Yes, I think we are treating topics which, in my opinion, are necessary to talk. I think because I mean, the problem is that many Catholics see music in a superficial way, you know.
Yeah, like they see it more as just
As
for
it's just
entertainment.
as he said, yeah, and if it was entertainment, as oh, what's matter if he has a Christian letter, it's okay, you know, what's matter? That mentality, and in some sense, that's well, a mentality influence from a no-Catholic vision of music, really. You read whatever musical Catholic theorist, you will see how the music must always have a moral sense, you know. I mean, that's even from a no religious perspective. Falling in this relativism, musical relativism, is a serious mistake, which is not according to reality. And in some sense, it makes the music, it puts the music in a bad place, you know. It's disrespectful to the music that way to treat it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
As it was, something secondary that maybe I think is related with that atheist and laicist, yes, that modernist atheist way of seeing the music, you know, seeing the human existence, isn't it? In a also very materialistic and utilitaristic and no spiritual way. In that sense, it makes sense that music has not the relevance that it has in the past, the importance that it has in the past. You know,
Yeah, it's become very
when
secular.
you deny God or put God in another side as something secondary in your life, and it makes sense that something so, you know, like music which has an apparently utilitarian sense, a material sense, utilitaristic material and economical sense, well, hasn't the same importance, you know.
Yeah, like
In a
it's
society
lost
like
the
this, it
importance.
hasn't, with that atheist, anti-Christian mentality, it hasn't that the music lost their importance.
Cool. Well, I think I'll probably have to be going pretty soon. I've got to take care
Yeah,
of
I
some chores and
think.
stuff. So, but yeah, thank you for collaborating with me. It's definitely good to have people like reach out and ask. Basically, like I definitely like I had an old YouTube channel before that actually grew quite a bit, but I never actually really did any collaborations, and so that's why I think I didn't like wasn't successful long term. I think so. Um, yeah, pretty much just like reaching out for collaborations is a good idea. Being consistent with like uploads and stuff is what I can recommend. And then, yeah, just learning how to title videos so people can find them is a good way to like try to spread the gospel, I guess, because that's what I'm trying to do is be like relevant enough that like I can spread the gospel message through like anime videos pretty much, or like talking about anime, which is stuff I like to do and know a good bit about. So I'm glad you're doing the same thing for like music as well, so, because yeah, music's definitely like a very good thing to talk about, I guess. So
It has been for me a pleasure to cooperate with you, and thank you very much also for accepting my propose to make a collab.
you know,
It's to my first collaboration, by the way. So it's your first collaboration, is my first too. And I think too that it's good that taking in account that Catholic Vtubers are very few. I think that it's good that we work together to bring the gospel to people. I think.
exactly. Well, how about we end us off with like a prayer, right? I think that would be good. So
Thank you.
can,
Have a good.
yeah. So I'll end us with a glory be to the Father
Do you
prayer.
say anything? Excuse me.
I'm going to like pray at the very end right here, and then we can close the video.
Are we praying?
I'll
Do you
pray. I'll
talking about
do,
praying now?
yeah. I'll do an English prayer, and then you can do like a Spanish prayer if you would like.
Oh,
Yes. So in the
I
name
have
of,
a proposal. Could
okay,
you let me? Could you let me make a proposal?
sure.
Uh, if you know, we could pray in Latin. You say?
Latin. Latin.
You know,
I don't know how
Latin.
to pray
How
pray
do you
in.
pronounce? I mean, Latin.
Yeah.
Or do you know maybe? Do you know praying in that, or do you know, or
I
don't
don't
you
know
know?
many prayers in that language yet.
Uh, okay.
Yeah.
Then we can. Then let's do it like you can pray in your language. Then. No problem. Okay.
Okay. So in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, amen. Glory be to
Amen.
the Father and to the Son and to the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning,
Amen.
is now, and ever shall be, world without end. Amen.
Amen.